Hello and welcome in to this edition of the PHLY Eagles podcast, brought to you by our friends over at TrueMark Financial Credit Union. If you've never had a credit union in your corner, visit TrueMarkFinancial.com to find out more and why the company based right here in the Delaware Valley is a good partner for you. All right, Rich, a lot to get to today. How are you, my friend?
James, I'm doing great. It's one of those recovering from a long summer weekend, but we got a little cornerbacks to talk about today, so I will take it. I'm doing well. How about you?
Yeah, good. I also, I think I was officially brain dead on Sunday of this week from old person exhaustion and just killed too many brain cells at a family wedding this weekend. So we'll get to all that at the end of the show. And summer is here, and you said it's fun. And I was down in Annapolis, so we'll talk about our weekends that were. I'd never done Annapolis. It was great.
Great food town, and it's it's pretty cool. I had not been there until the last few years, but yeah, just all the restaurants and stuff, and right in the harbor there, right near the naval.
It's great. It's beautiful.
I had a
crab.
Nice.
I had a crab cakes Benedict, Rich, that I'm still thinking about 4 days later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, maybe you're not brain dead. Maybe you just got to think about the crab cake. You'll be all right.
We're going to do something pretty cool today. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's hit that thumbs up here. Let's get a little like on the channel, shall we? Because, Rich, I hope this doesn't suck. I was watching Saquon, get his 99 Madden rating chain this past weekend, and I was like trying to think, like, man, I haven't played Madden in a while, but like I started going back to all my glory days of bringing Madden on the family vacation, and I was a junkie at one point, going to GameStop when the game was released. So I was trying to think of something fun we can do. We're going to draft in a little while our all-time Eagles favorite Madden players. We'll do a snake draft between the two of us, and we'll come up with our all-time Madden team and see who can win head-to-head. But first, Rich, we're going to start with, I guess, a little bit of surprising news today, and that is that former great, maybe great again, cornerback Jaire Alexander is released from the Green Bay Packers. Basically, what that translates to is they couldn't find a trade partner. With his health issues over the last couple of years, we'll get into all that, the nitty-gritty of it. Didn't want to pay him $16.75 million this year. They release him with the post-June 1st designation. He enters the NFL free agency waters. Would you?
Probably not, Jamie, is the short answer. It does remind me a little bit of the James Bradberry signing, right? He was released later. He was not available during the normal free agency period. And I understand why Eagles fans would be interested. Hey, look, Howie Roseman has said that player acquisition is a 365-day-a-year task. It is something that they look into, but I would say that the Eagles learned a lesson last year, and it went about as well as possible. And if I remember correctly, I think it was the 2024 Combine where Howie Roseman, this is before we knew they were going to have this juggernaut defense this year, he basically says, we're going to have to get younger at some of these spots. He had just come off watching the Shaq Leonards of the world, the James Bradberrys of the world, older players that were proven, but were on the wrong side of their careers, struggle for this defense. And he said, we're going to have to trust some young guys and hopefully develop them into better players. And I think in this scenario, basically, here's my thing, Jamie. If you were to sign Jaire Alexander, I feel like that would be an indictment of Kelee Ringo. Is that
absolutely
fair?
I think that's fair.
So if the Eagles did not trust Kelee Ringo, I feel like they already would have re-signed Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers signed a very normal type of deal. It was not like a break the bank type of thing. I believe he went to Minnesota. And when that signing got made, it was like, wow, they really couldn't match that one. Like, that guy was basically the backup. He was ahead of Kelee Ringo for a lot of this past year, including in that divisional playoff game. He was the guy who got the call. It seems like they have a lot of trust in Kelee Ringo. He is a member of the Georgia crew. He is somebody who was insanely young for his draft year. He is somebody who showed promise a couple years ago when given an opportunity. So if you weren't going to trust Keely Ringo, I feel like the move already would have been made because you already knew what Isaiah Rodgers looked like in this Fangio scheme. So I don't really see it. I think they have leaned into the youth and the player development track, and my guess is that's what's going to happen here. I mean, Jair Alexander too. We could also talk about him. If you look, 3 of the last 4 years, he's played 7 games or less too. That's like
so here's the breakdown of them. Dating back to 2021, Jair Alexander has only played in 34 of 68 possible games. He's played more than just 7 games in a season once during that span, although he did make the Pro Bowl and an All-Pro second team selection during the 2022 campaign. He was owed $16.15 million in base salary this year, which was the second to last year of his 4-year, $80 million deal he signed. It essentially gets Green Bay off the books between this year and next year for just over $17.1 million. Now, the only way I think this would become a thing and a real possibility for the Eagles would be if it was only a 1-year deal. Now, Green Bay said that the market for him was quote unquote lukewarm. And that means somebody else didn't want to pay the $16.75 million as well. Now, that being said, if he was to choose a 1-year prove it type of deal, I texted our own great ZB earlier today. And I said, Zach, let's play the game. He's on a 1-year kind of prove it deal with hopes to land that one more big contract before the end. What do you guess that would kind of be? What price range do you guess that would be in? Zach said, I would guess around 15 per year. And I said, sheesh. Even with his injury history, he said there's no way it goes below 10 million per year.
See, but I don't think the Eagles want to do that with their insistence on not paying, I would say, middle of the road players, right? And it's more to do with really just the cap spend the cash spend than any of the issues that you would see with the cap. Yeah, I just that doesn't make sense, right? They have gone so lean on that side of the ball, Jimmy. They have told us that we are only playing our star level players, and with that injury history, I don't think you can call Jair Alexander a star, right? It's like when I
think he's a former star is fair.
Well, it's like when I look at a lot of the basketball rankings now, and Joel Embiid is not like listed as a star anymore, and it's fair because he doesn't play, right? And so this guy is not able to get on the field. It is funny when you see some of the newsbreakers tweet, they're like star cornerback Jair Alexander, it's like, yeah, I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, sure, but can he stay on the field? So I would not be. I don't think the Eagles are going to be very interested in it, I guess is my main point.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think it's a long shot. Somebody from CBS Sports did write up an article naming the Eagles as one of the 6 teams, and we'll read that excerpt in a second. But Rich, I'm very dumb, and one of my most basic sports philosophies, almost in all sports, is that there's really no bad 1-year deals. That does interest me a little bit. I would never go 2 with them because the chances of getting sustained health for 2 years is crazy. And I know you can say in the NFL, a 2-year deal really could be a 1-year deal and yada, yada. There's always workarounds. But to me, a 1-year deal gives me some minor itch of interest because Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo. To your point, I think Keely Ringo would probably have his confidence shook a little bit if they were to bring him in. But, I mean, you saw what happened last year with Slay, DeJean, and my boy Q. It's hard not to want to run that same philosophy back, especially with a weakened defensive line. So I see where people would want to do it. That being said, you can't predict health, and chances are he doesn't play a full season.
Well, and I guess the lesson for James Bradberry was the 1-year deal that he initially
signed.
It was great. Yeah, it was awesome. The mistake was re-upping with him after that because he completely fell off a cliff. And yeah, I would understand why a national publication would say, hey, the Eagles are a logical team because it's a move they make, right? They do creative stuff. They go after big names too, as well. That's something that, as good as Howie is at building a roster, that is something I feel like he enjoys going after the major names and sometimes makes mistakes when he does so. Yeah, so I understand why it would be a big deal. And the other thing, Jamie, just looking at it, their cornerback depth, it's not great right now. I mean, they have their three starters where I'm happy with them, and they're three young guys as well too. So you would hope that they are less injury prone than maybe some of the older players in the league. But like last year, it was awesome. You know, when Darius Slay would get hurt for a game or would go out, it'd be they have two guys who I feel pretty comfortable with sliding into these positions in Rodgers and Ringo. So I guess in us talking about this for 12 minutes, I'm just like, why didn't they re-sign Isaiah Rodgers? I felt like they had something good going on.
I was kind of blown away they didn't re-sign him, to be honest with you, because you invested that dummy year. Like, you basically paid him during his, while he was ineligible.
Got a tattoo on his leg of the Super Bowl trophy.
I think you're right. I think it was on his shin, which seems like the most painful place to get a tattoo.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not the wisest placement of the tattoo, but I enjoyed his ability to run down the field with receivers. I mean, maybe that would have affected it. I don't know, but I get what you're saying. If it was a 1-year deal, sure, why not? But I do. This whole offseason feels like they have invested in Keely Ringo, and they're like, look, we drafted this guy, and we actually paid a little more than the pick slot we were at to acquire this guy. We think he's good, and like, let's see what he can do. Also too, like, Keely Ringo has the ability to get better while, playing next to Cooper DeJean, playing next to Quinyon Mitchell. That's a great spot, right? Like, I'm sure he'll be targeted a bunch, because why would you throw at those other two guys when Keely Ringo is out there? I still think it's a good spot. I still think Vic Fangio can give him the requisite help, and he'll be able to at least tread water for a little bit. And the beauty of young players, Jamie, and this is, I remember Bo having an awesome rant about this towards the end of that 23 season, when they were bringing in all of these olds and they just weren't working out because, again, they were available for a reason. It's that young players, they can actually get better. That's the benefit of them. They might not be great right away, but if you coach them correctly, they can actually get better down the line. And the proof of concept for that was the entire Eagles defense last year. It was, I mean, like, best case scenario. I know there's probably risk in relying on too many unproven guys, but man, that defense got better the rest of the year. So I would be out on it, but you're right. If it would be a 1-year deal, okay, that doesn't seem like a huge deal.
Yeah, and I view every move the Eagles make right now also, Rich, through the prism of this is Jalen Carter's money, right? Like, even if they're spending it now, maybe there's a way they can restructure. I'm not the cap guru. I have a pretty good understanding of it, but like, every cent available is, Jalen Carter's about to probably be paid $47 million a year. And you don't think 45?
So
he's going to set the market, right?
ZB said that he thought Carter's next contract will start with a 3, which I've seen other projections that it'll start with a 4. The AAV of it.
I've read 41 to 43. Yeah. But I do view that, like, okay, if they don't make a move, maybe they're just getting some kind of bonus, money available for Carter that they can roll over or whatever. But I'm not,
whatever it is, pay it seriously.
Yeah, sure. My dumb hoagie mouth brain goes, go get that guy for $1 million for 1-year deal, Jair Alexander. Let's get a good competition there.
I mean, when you said
I don't think it's going to happen.
There's no way they're paying $15 million. There's no way.
No,
they don't want to spend cash. They just haggled with Dallas Goedert for like 2 months over a couple $1 million to knock him down.
But here's the beauty of success: people want to be here.
Sure, that's true. And look, he is a Philadelphia native as well. Did you know that?
I did know
not
that.
Really. He was born. He was born.
Did he go to high school?
But he didn't.
Okay.
No. But if you look at his Wikipedia, great site, by the way. He was.
I donated.
He was born here. He's one of those Bryce Youngs where he was born here and then left the nest. But yeah, so by the way, if Jair Alexander wanted to get back at the NFC North and take a discount from the Eagles, let's say the Eagles play, I believe, the entire NFC North this season as well.
Yes,
he wants to get back at the Packers, which the Eagles, there's no love lost there, as we know. Maybe he's gotten in a feud with Amon-Ra St. Brown over the years too. You get to play them as well. This would be a good place. And if he wanted to chase a ring, there would be no better place to come than here. I do think it would have to be on the Eagles' terms, though. And $15 million, that doesn't sound like the Eagles' terms to me.
Yeah, it's probably a little unlikely. All right, on the other side, we'll continue talking about Keely Ringo. There's a mini camp going on with the guys in town, hence why Bo Wolf and Zach Berman are not here today. A little special primetime edition tomorrow night, Rich, a very sexy edition of PHLY Eagles After Dark at 8 p.m. so that Zach and Bo can bring.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, so they can bring you the latest from the NovaCare Center. And give you that fresh update right off of the field. We'll continue talking about all of that on the other side, plus our all-time Eagles Madden team. But first, let's tell you about some friends of ours here at PHLY.
And Jamie, I am going to start by talking about Art of Words. Guys, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and this local Philly artist proves it. Each piece is made entirely from handwritten words, like every Eagle forming the link and every Philly shaping Citizens Bank Park. We have a bunch of these drawings, which are very cool in the PHLY studios. I have one as well. And guys, it's not just sports. They've captured Boathouse Row, Reading Terminal, the Philly skyline, the Jersey Shore, and more. And guys, it's not just related to Philadelphia too. If there's something else you would like captured, go to Art of Words. This business, it started by selling art at the K-Lot and Rice's Flea Market, and they credit Philadelphia fans for launching their business. So it's available for dozens of teams and cities. The pieces are total conversation starters. You'll spot a name within the piece, then another, and then soon everyone is reliving their favorite sports memories. So guys, check it out at artofwords.com. That is artofwords.com. And while you're there, use code PHLY at checkout for 15% off your purchase.
And we got breaking news from Bet365. There's a new promo exclusively for the NBA Finals that offers customers the chance to win a jackpot of up to $100,000 in bonus bets with the first play fortune. To enter for a chance to win a share of the $100,000 jackpot in bonus bets, you must place a 3-leg same-game parlay where the 3 legs are player to score the first basket, player to get the first assist, and first rebound. Only bets consisting of those 3 exact legs will be eligible. Player to score the first basket, player to get the first assist, player to get the first rebound. Nail those 3. Log in and place your bet or sign up. Use that code PHLY365 at sign up for new users. Deposit $10 and place your 3-leg same-game parlay bet for a $1 minimum. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, you can call 1-800-GAMBLER. In-app only. T&Cs apply. Opt-in required. All right, Rich, as we kind of get back, have you watched much NBA Finals so far?
So I didn't catch the game last night, which was good because it was a dud.
I kind of
felt like that was going to be a dud. I thought OKC was going to come back. Man, great sports weekend though. Great week, I would say, because the NHL games, 2 overtime Friday NHL night, games, yeah. The Halliburton game winner. And then I got to say, I do not watch a ton of French Open, but I watched a good bit of the finals of both the women's, Coco Gauff with like a great comeback over Sabalenka. And then the match on Friday.
Was unbelievable.
On Sunday was insane, man. The quality of like shot making between those two dudes, Sinner and Alcaraz.
Unbelievable.
And it's funny, Jamie, like I was rooting very hard for Alcaraz, but and he came back from a 2-zip deficit to win in 5 sets. The other guy like didn't choke, I didn't think. Like he just
Alcaraz he made some great shots himself.
He kept hitting great shots, and Alcaraz just hit like 0.5% better shots. But it was a lot of fun. And I gotta say, man, tennis is like I just marvel at those guys.
It's freakish how athletic they are.
I've heard it described to me too. Yeah, the athleticism, just being physically beat up over a 5-hour period. But dude, mentally, like imagine when you're playing that level of match and the other guy is that good and you hit a couple loose forehands, like that would just be such a trip in your mind. And you have to go walk to the other side of the court to think about it. Anyway, so a lot of good stuff going on. But that was one of the best sporting events I've seen in a while, though. That was crazy.
Oh, absolutely. I thought Sinner was toast when that one he thought went out of bounds, and they don't use the technology over there. He thought it went, he let it go. He thought it was out. He got pissed and was yapping at the judge a little bit. I was like, oh boy, here comes the mental unraveling, the Richie Tenenbaum. And he didn't. He composed himself right back. To that championship caliber form. That's going to be an awesome rivalry for the coming years.
The other thing that I thought was funny, I don't really watch a ton of the French Open. I feel like I watch a decent amount of.
Well, it was on TV this year, so it was a lot easier.
You're right. It's usually not. It was on TNT, I think, and usually
it was usually on Tennis Channel. This was the first year. Yep.
So I didn't really know the rule because I'm usually watching Wimbledon and the U.S. Open because those are also dead periods of the sports calendar. Eagles training camp and preseason aside, those fill the earlier parts of the day. But yeah, the fact that they just eyeball it on the clay, they don't use the Hawkeye technology is kind of crazy to me. They have the greatest replay system in sports, and they make the poor umpire walk down the steps and take a look and say, "Okay, that was out." Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty wild. So which Eagle do you think is the best tennis player?
It's probably Jake Elliott, right? He's just the best at all of the odd sports.
He seems to be the best at everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if somebody like AJ or just Devontae, like the Slim Reaper, does that transfer over? Do Jalen and Saquon's thighs help them out if they're playing on clay and sliding all around? I don't know.
Tennis is a sport you kind of have to have like grown up playing. Like I think. No offense, those guys are some of the greatest athletes in the country. I would imagine it would be pretty wild watching them play. They'd look pretty unathletic, maybe making some of those swings, but maybe one of them.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. All right, let's tie a quick little bow on Jair Alexander. Just wanted to read this CBS.
Sammy, real quick. I want to say one thing too about their athleticism. This was a couple weeks ago, but I haven't been on the show. When Nick Sirianni, who read his leadership book in the offseason and clearly found the chapter of why don't we do some non-football things this offseason? Why don't we go bowling? Why don't we play basketball? Have some team bonding. I got to say, their jump shots at the Palestra, a lot of those guys, way better than I thought. I watched the video of, I believe it was Saquon at the Super Bowl. I think they were like just screwing around in the Pelicans practice facility. That wasn't very good. A lot of most of those guys, some of the offensive linemen, pretty good form. I was impressed. Jalen Carter too, pretty good.
I was just going to say Jalen Carter's shocked me.
Good.
I didn't expect a big man to be that smooth from the top of the key, but he looked pretty good.
I was impressed by those guys. So
yeah, and apparently Jake
Elliott
won bowling. To your earlier point,
of course he did.
I forget who he edged out, but I think he broke 200. I think he had like a 210 or something. Like that guy's just apparently you want him on your drinking team.
Gotten near a 200 in bowling?
I have gotten near.
Wow.
I don't think I got it. I think I got like a 189 once or something like that. Like I don't have any English on my balls.
No.
So I'm like a straight line. I'm a straight line meathead kind of heaver. So if I get in like a little bit of a rhythm and a heater, I can go on a little run, but I'm not very good overall.
I just remember, I think the highest I got was it's probably like 150, 160. I've been nowhere near 200, but the kids who used to bring it, sometimes I would go bowling as a kid and you would see the kids show up with the wrist guards. They would, that's how you knew they meant business. They'd be wearing collared shirts and wrist guards. It's like, this guy, he's ready to go. They got some English on their balls. Let me tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Always need a little English on your balls. All right, just to put a bow on this Jair Alexander conversation, CBS Sports did a article just before the show dropped, and it said the 6 teams most likely to sign Jair Alexander. Here are the teams. The Miami Dolphins, 1. They're trying to find a home for unhappy cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Could be a move for them. The San Francisco 49ers, the Los Angeles Rams, the Baltimore Ravens, the Minnesota Vikings, and your Philadelphia Eagles. Here's what it says about the Eagles, Rich. Philly is always aggressive in going after high-level talent, and Alexander fits the bill. He does even more so because the Eagles allowed both Slay and Isaiah Rodgers to leave for greener pastures leaving them Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson as their starting corner across from Quinyon Mitchell. Adding Alexander to the mix would allow them to better replicate what they had last year with Mitchell, Slay, and slot Cooper DeJean. Now, this ultimately comes down to what you think they do with Cooper DeJean. Zach last week at OTAs, Vic talked about it. Sounds like he's going to do a little bit of both potentially. Maybe some safety in some packages, maybe slot corner. Do you want to give Keely Ringo the outside, keep Cooper in the slot, and have him dabble with a little safety? What is your ideal kind of Cooper DeJean situation this year?
My ideal situation with him to still be in the slot. And the thing I'm curious about over time, James, and he still has probably another year until we seriously get into this conversation, is the best thing I think for the Eagles long term is just to find an adequate outside corner. And that's what I hope Keely Ringo is, right? Good size, good athleticism. Doesn't have to be a star. You already have a star on the other side. I really think the nickel position, Cooper showed last year how having an elite nickelback, a guy who can help fill on the run and tackle. And, Vic talked about this during his press conference last week, which was phenomenal, by the way. Vic is he's cooking at the mic right now. Him and Kevin Patullo, man, what a season we have ahead. ZB asking questions. But he talked about how it just completely changed how their edge rushers could play the run, right? They had more confidence in the outside that he could tackle. And by the way, he could also cover, players over the middle and all those things. My question is, it's more valuable to the player for that second contract to be an outside corner. And I wonder, is there a world where the Eagles maybe try and bridge that gap and say, look, you might be an okay outside corner, but our best combination is going to be Quinyon outside, you inside, and one other guy. That's clearly where we want to play you as a linebacker. We want to be able to play you all over the place. Like you said, sometimes as a safety. Does Cooper DeJean at one point say, I think I can do the outside corner thing. I think I can do that pretty well. And my bank account really wants me to do that down the line. I don't know. That could be a question for a few years down the road, but it's just something that I thought about. But for this year, I think
it's very valid.
Yeah. I think the best combination would be Coop inside and one other guy. And yeah, his ability, again, the Super Bowl, his pick six is the perfect example of why he's so good at it. They were playing, I believe it was cover 3, either cover 3 or cover 4, one of those two. But he vacates his zone when he sees that Zach Bond has followed the back into the flat, and he becomes an unaccounted defender. And it's something that Fran had talked about the entire year, James. They just were so good at passing players off in that zone coverage, knowing where basically the other 5 guys around them were. And that's why Mahomes wasn't able to account for him, where if they weren't on the same page, he probably would have been hanging out on the sideline or stepped up to try and take away that route. But because he knew Zach Bond had it, he circles back and said, I could freelance. They were doing that stuff the entire year. So I don't want to break that up. I would like him there. But yeah, it's like you said, it's valid for him to want to play on the outside. Vic mentioned that he will play outside, it seems like, on base downs this year, but I feel like we need a new word for base, because base is only 8% of the snaps now. It's not a lot, right? It's most teams are playing with 3 wide receivers, and defenses want to play with 5 defensive backs as well. That should be the new base coverage. But yeah, I'll be curious to see how it works over the years. I'm not worried about it by any means. I think Coop has good head on his shoulders. He knows how to partner with podcast companies. I can tell you that right now. If that decision making is really any sign of what's to come, I think he and the Eagles will be able to strike a deal. But yeah, I mean, to me, I would be surprised if his best spot wasn't this supercharged nickel position. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough because especially with Quinyon too, right? They're probably both going to get extensions around the same time period. And if Quinyon's is
bigger,
let's just pick a number here, $8.75 million more than Cooper DeJean, who played the slot for the past couple of years, I'd be pissed. It's human nature to be pissed, especially if you believe you can do it. Now, I'm a big proponent of when you do something excellent, stay there. Like, I don't want to overcomplicate Cooper DeJean and lose the ability at being great and proving what he did last year. But at the same time, if Cooper thinks he can play the outside, and I have no reason to think that he can't, at some point, you're right. He's probably going to want to crack at the outside, unless the Eagles, behind closed doors with his agent, are saying, like, hey, things change. There's trends in this league. We're going to make the slot cornerback paid to an equal footing of an outside cornerback. And that cornerback 2 position just becomes that youth development spot, that veteran 1 to 2 year deal type of guy.
Exactly.
And they work it that way. I mean, I don't know, but I would imagine they're going to want to make things right for both Quinyon and Cooper.
Well,
financially speaking, of course.
And if Coop could play safety down the line, I know there's the song that he's not a safety, but
Cooper
Vic said
is not a safety.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. For now, he's certainly not a safety, but as he gets older, as a lot of cornerbacks were, right? Malcolm Jenkins had a lot of slot cornerback experience in his career, became an amazing safety, played into his 30s and played at a high level for the Eagles. He might be on this Madden draft I have coming up here. Just to give away my board a little bit, but is that a spot? Because Vic did say that he thinks Coop would do very well at safety at some point. So, and
after seeing him throw down that alley-oop at the Palestra, Rich, I think Coop would do well wherever you put him. That dude's a freak.
Crazy athlete. Crazy.
So maybe, except he sucked at his home run contest at his own charity event. He didn't hit any.
It's like our conversation with tennis. Sometimes when they have to swing a racket or a bat, they're not going to look quite as athletic as they actually are in the sport that they're getting paid millions of dollars to play. I do think the best move though for this year is play Keely on the outside. And by the way, like I keep hearing like Adoree Jackson and Keely are battling for the spot.
Okay.
If Adoree Jackson is the corner, Get Jair Alexander on the horn. Yeah, like let's make sure that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's take a break. And then on the other side, Rich and I are going to draft our all-time Eagles Madden team. And just to lay it out for you, we're going to go 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and 2 defensive specialists, which is going to be pretty fun. So on the other side, we'll tell you about our Eagles draft upcoming. But first, let's tell you about some of our friends. And that is our friends over at Mando. Mando is a men's deodorant brand that is hyper-focused on keeping every aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean. And when I say every aspect, I mean every aspect, including your pits, your belly buttons. If you've got a stinky belly button out there, take care of it with Mando. Your balls, your butt cracks, and maybe the stinkiest of them all, the grundle. Their scents are geared toward men with options like Bourbon Leather, Clover Woods, and Mount Fuji, and of course, Pro Sport. Who doesn't want their grundle smelling like Mount Fuji? Come on, people. This is a no-brainer. It's very important to take care of that whole body smell because, look, whole body deodorant, it's safe to wear used anywhere on your body. It was created by a doctor firsthand who saw how men's BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. And they can block odor all day and control your odor for up to 72 hours. And look, Father's Day is coming up. Maybe your dad's a little stinky around the house. Maybe your buddy who's a father is a little stinky, and you're going, here you go, pal. I got some Mando for you this Father's Day. All products are baking soda free and paraben free, and you can choose from great scents, and it's clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average grundle odor of a man gets to a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average grundle odor level is a 0 out of 10. So why wouldn't you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant right now? You can find them in Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. And for the best deals, go to shopmando.com.
Rocket Money. Guys, can you keep track of all your subscriptions? Because I definitely cannot. And with prices going up on just about everything lately, being smart with your money isn't just a good idea, it is essential. But managing those pesky subscriptions, tracking spending, and cutting costs can feel overwhelming. Lucky for you, Rocket Money takes the guesswork out of it so you can easily make smart decisions. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. You can see all of your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. And for the ones you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save, then ask them to negotiate with you. They'll deal with customer service so you don't have to. And guys, Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Download the Rocket Money app and enter the show name, PHLY, Philadelphia Eagles podcast, in the survey so they know that we sent you. And don't wait. Download the Rocket Money app today and tell that you heard about them from our show. Stop wasting money on the things you don't use and cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/PHLY. That's rocketmoney.com/PHLY.
All right, this is the PHLY Eagles podcast brought to you by our friends at TrueMark Financial Credit Union. 24 area locations. Find out why it's smarter to have a credit union in your corner. All right, Rich, let's get to it. My dumb idea driving back from Annapolis this weekend, I was thinking about Saquon's 99, and I was like, what?
Not a dumb idea.
Yeah. Well, I decided let's have some fun and draft our all-time favorite Eagles as Madden players. So we're going to get two quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and 2 defensive players. We will do a snake draft, and we're not going back further than Reggie White, Randall Cunningham. Everybody from there on is eligible. Reggie White and Randall Cunningham are eligible because they do get ratings in those classic teams kind of categories. And if I misspeak about up-to-date Madden vernacular, please take it easy on me in the chat. I'm a washed old man that hasn't played Madden in a long time, so don't crush me, all right? Rich, for the first pick, I have a convenient coin flipper right here on Google. I will let you call it in the air. Go ahead.
Oh, this is going to be electric. Tails.
It is heads.
All right. You deferring?
I am going to defer. I'm going to take the snake pick here so you can kick it off with the first overall pick.
All right. I am going to start with my favorite player I've ever played with in Madden. But it's a little later. So in the greatest Madden player of all time, I think it was the year he was on the cover. Was it 03, 04, one of those years? It was Michael Vick when he was on the Falcons. And he was so good and so fast that they eventually created that stupid passing cone for a little while that to try and, because Michael Vick was rated lower than Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and all of those guys, but he was better because they made him insanely faster and anybody just wanted to scramble and do all of those things. And here's the beauty of having Michael Vick. You could turn injuries off, right? You know, I was there for the Michael Vick experience with the Eagles in like week 2 when he played against the Lions and he first got the job over Kevin Kolb, shot out of a cannon. Michael Vick, though, not a very big guy. So by the end of the season, even if he was fantastic, he was a lot slower. He certainly took a ton of big hits, would never protect his body. You could turn those injuries off, right? And you could just keep juking people at all times. So I will take Madden 12 or 2012 Michael Vick as my first pick.
I feared that was going to be your choice. Smart choice. Here's a little snippet. It says, in Madden 2004, Michael Vick's overall rating was only a 90, but he had a
he's
speed
the
rating
best.
of 95, a throwing power of 98, and
That's all I need.
elusiveness of 92. While not a 99 overall rating, some considered his Madden 2004 avatar to be unstoppable due to his speed, arm strength, and ability to roll around the field. Now, whenever you played somebody that was Vic, it was such a heartbreaking game because that rollout ability would just crush you. You'd think you'd have him sacked. You know, you force him into a throw, and then Vic would roll out for 75 yards and a score.
Yeah, I mean, you could also just like roll out like in Michael Vick, as good of an athlete as he was, like you could roll out on a dead sprint to your left, and then once you get to the sidelines, like on a dead sprint, flick like a 60-yard bomb to some terrible receiver, you know, Brian Finneran or somebody. But yeah, he was sick, and they tried to make the rules. Very much the tush push of that Madden era. He got too good with Mike Vick.
Yeah, he was damn good. It's a good first pick. All right, now with my snake draft, I'm going to take, even though I haven't played the game with the man, I am going to go the 99 club. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take Saquon off the board because he was made near perfect by the game. He is a 99 in this year's Madden, and I want a 99 on my team. And secondly, with the third overall pick, this man was a force. When I did seasons with him back in the day, he would have like 35 to 40 touchdowns, 1,900 yards in the air receiving. I'm taking the big bad T.O. and placing him on my team with Saquon.
I like that. I like that. What did you think of the whole rollout last week with Saquon?
The Saquons?
Well, yeah, even that. But what about the they put him up on the harness to recreate the backwards hurdle?
Is that necessary?
They might not own like, the image. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's what it was. They had to recreate it, so they owned it. You're probably
What's
right.
The guy's name is like Darian Jones. Yeah, they went with just a random guy. I would have loved to have been the guy.
Oh, I would have loved it. That would have been awesome.
Well, what do you think the auditions were for the guy who had to play Darian Jones? Is just the standard black helmet, because they had a guy run underneath Saquon as they lifted him up in the harness or whatever. Do you think that was just like an EA Sports intern? Do you think they like had to...
Hey, Bob from accounting, get in there. You're skinny enough.
They had auditions. Can you imagine if they had like auditions and like the director was like, "Ooh, I like that. You ran under the hurdle pretty well there. Yeah, you got the job."
Now, Steve Whitaker in the chat is saying, Rich, throw a flag. The game hasn't been released yet. No, but his rating was. You know, thanks for letting me slide there. All right, fourth overall pick is yours.
So Saquon is great, but again, my theme is going to be my team very much are the same types of players because, you know, I love watching a game and watching people truck players, and that's cool. I don't like doing that in Madden. I like juking people in Madden and running past them. So I am going to slide much more to the fast players. So the player I am going to take next here is 2008 Brian Westbrook. Really fun player. Really fun player for a long time. Was like, I remember you mentioned T.O. Like the year I would use for him is 05, just that first year. Like when the Eagles had McNabb, Owens, and Westbrook, it just was like, wow, we finally have like a fun offense to play with in the video game. It's funny that we don't play the video game now. I'm sure they are very fun to play with currently with all of their skill position talent. But Westbrook for like a 4 or 5 year span there was just like, throw him the ball, run those Andy Reid screen passes and try and take it to the house. I believe he was up there. That was after his huge season where that 06 season where he was just pretty much dominant on a not very good Eagles team otherwise. So that would be the guy I would take next. Let's change it up.
He was very high on my list. I loved playing with Brian Westbrook that year. He was nasty. That's a good pick by you.
So let's change it up for the next one. You're gonna go. I think you're gonna go more with the classic players. I'm gonna go with the players who were current during those times. And I'm curious, what position do you use when you're playing defense? in Madden? Like, what
It
position
depends
do
on
you
the player,
prefer?
to be honest. I don't want to give too much away, but
Okay.
I've been
Well,
I keep it to three positions. I'll tell you that. I keep it to safety, middle linebacker, and defensive ends. Sometimes D tackles. Sometimes D tackles if the D end isn't good enough.
Well, those are the positions I play as well. You're not going to play outside cornerback. Like you're barely
Nah,
on the
it's
screen. I
impossible.
can't
Who
even
wants to
run
do
that.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to play D tackle either, to be honest with you. Like Jalen Carter, I mean, I'm sure he's terrific in the new Madden game.
He's probably nasty in it, yeah.
Yeah, but like, who cares? Like,
But Aaron Donald's like rushing a D end in the middle of the field, you know?
you're just running into a guard. Like, that's no fun. So you mentioned DN too. If there is like an
Don't take my
outside
guy.
linebacker who is an edge rusher too, that is also a lot of fun. But the first position you mentioned is the one that I played the most. So I will pick 2003 Brian Dawkins. I actually there is a YouTube channel that I watched. I believe the guy's name, I want to give him credit, is Miles Dawkins. And in the hour of prep that I did for this, he has like a ton of subscribers on his YouTube channel. And he basically just goes through like what these players look like through the years of all the different Madden games. And he had a Brian Dawkins video where when it starts, man, those graphics were awful. Oh man, he's like Brian Dawkins is a safety, and I don't know what the offensive lineman looked like back then. I mean, I kind of do, but he looked like an offensive lineman playing safety. He was so big back then. But yeah, safety is my favorite position to control. You're right on the middle of the field, right? You can control things, you can blitz, you can get back in coverage, all of those things. That is my next pick.
All right, it's a good pick there. All right, I think I know where I'm going here. I'm going to leave defense B for the time being, and I am going to take my man, number 5, will always love you.
Oh wow.
He was elite at Madden. He had the bomb. You could throw it the length of the field with McNabb. Decent enough escapability. Was just a really fun Madden player for me. I'm going to go with Donovan McNabb as my quarterback number 1. And then I'm going to yeah, I mean, he was a cover athlete. How could I not get number 5? And then I'm going to double down and make my wide receiver position absolute hell for you. T.O. and A.J. Brown. Deal with it.
That's pretty good. Again, I don't really know because we don't play the game as much.
I would imagine that A.J. Brown is T.O. reincarnated, right?
I might have to buy it this year, Jamie. You could just download it right to your console, whatever you have to. You don't even have
Vince
to
will get it. We'll expense it to the office.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, God, you want to play with the Eagles. I mean, they got all this skill position talent. That is a good pick. He was next on my list. Okay. Well, I'm going to go back to the running backs, and I'm going to take actually my next 2 players. I'm going to take skill position players from the same general era. And again, these probably aren't the best players on the board. And in some of the cases, they are. But they were fun to control and fun to run past people and juke people too. So let's do it in this order. Next pick, LaShawn McCoy, 2015. Damn. I believe he was the 2nd rated running back. He was
nasty.
Well, he also was probably the most video game like running back in real life.
Absolutely.
Like, he would juke to the side. He would hit that right joystick and just go sideways, and he would make guys look like absolute Looney Tunes. I mean, he was insane at that. And it was funny. I was looking at some of his rankings, and I thought in Madden they actually made him faster than he was in real life. Like Shady's like straight line speed was good, but for a running back, it wasn't crazy. It was really his elusiveness, his ability to decelerate and then accelerate in just any direction. It was pretty remarkable. So he is number 1. And then I'm going to go with the 2012 Deshaun Jackson, the fastest player. That's all right. You already picked your 2 receivers, so you're
I know, but if I got Deshaun as my 3rd, like you're in trouble. If I had T.O., AJ,
you weren't allowed to
Deshaun,
pick 3 in this fake game we're playing. Come on, you can't do that.
No, there's 3 wide receivers.
Oh, is there 3? Okay, well,
yeah,
I might have to freestyle some of this at the end. I'm not sure I have 6 names written down, but yeah, so fast and
so nasty.
In Madden, it's like what we were talking about with Vic, right? And Madden, you weren't looking for like the Peyton Manning, like just move the chains, West Coast
No.
offense, throw the slants to Marvin Harrison. No. I'm looking to throw the ball 50 yards down the field. And at that time, there was nobody better to throw the ball deep to than Deshaun Jackson.
That is a good one. Deshaun, I had my wide receivers, and I probably could have been talking to Deshaun ahead of A.J. Brown. I had T.O., A.J., Deshaun in that order.
Okay.
It's a good pick. Yeah, Deshaun was a freak in that game. He flew by everybody. All right, this is getting a little tough. All right, I'm going to go with Randall Cunningham as my backup quarterback. He did get the classic rating. I was considered Carson Wentz was a 90 the one year in Madden, just for the record. He did get some consideration from me on this step chart.
I was reading up though. He became a 94. It was in the middle of the season. It was during the era when they could update the rankings where
he got up to 94.
Yeah. So he got up to 94, which again, and I also think too, nowadays, like Saquon getting a 99, it seems like they're a little more conservative with the rankings nowadays than they used to be in the past. Like felt like there were a lot of 95s to 99s. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but yeah, getting up to a 94 nowadays is pretty good. But yeah, it was in the middle of the season. They watched him play for like 6 weeks and just saw
he was an MVP that year. So it makes sense. I'm going to go with Scramblin' Randall as my backup.
Sure.
Now, this is tough. I'm torn between the backup running back or the greedy third wide receiver. Now, you're maxed out at running back, so I don't really have to get him here. Do I want to put the clamps to you with a third wide receiver first, or do I want to go defense or tight end? I'm gonna make you sweat a little bit in the wide receiver room. And I'm going to take Devontae Smith. So I go Randall Cunningham, Devontae Smith.
Sounds good. All right, fine.
Now, Cleveland John says sliding D-Jax into the slot and watching him absolutely toast linebackers and safeties was so much fun. It was fun in real life and the video game.
The thing I remember about D-Jack, too, you could just throw those wide receiver screens and he would just run away from people, too. Man, I loved watching that guy play receiver, even in real life, like when the corner would play like 15 yards off of him and they would just throw him the ball and say, like, you're not going to break any tackles, but you could probably get like 6 yards here if we just throw you the ball and just run out of bounds and it's fine. Yeah, he was awesome at that. And again, you could turn off injuries too. So, if he gets crunched, that's fine. He'll get up. It's a video game. It's not a big deal. Okay, fine. Yeah, you did box me out with the receivers. All right, fine. Well, I'm going to box you out.
3 names written down. Oh,
I'm going to box you out with the defense then. I'm going to go with you went with an old guy, and I've never played with this guy, but I'll take Reggie White. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll take him.
I was torn there because I knew there was a possibility you could get the greatest defensive player ever if I didn't take him there.
I think Javon Curse was another one I was thinking of too. Very good game player.
He is very much my number 2 overall defensive pick on my paper depth chart here.
And let's go with I'm going to go actually what Charles just had written in the chat. I had next was after Zach Ertz's excellent 2018 season for Madden 2020, which is the one released the year before in 2019, Zach Ertz was the second rated tight end behind Travis Kelce that year. So he was next on my list.
It's a pretty good pick. Now I'm going to take Goddard just so you don't box me out entirely of tight ends. I would admit that Ertz was better, but I was comfortable with either, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
I didn't think the difference was like that much, but Ertz, I think, is the better overall player, and he was healthy. But if he can turn injuries off, then F it, we ball. So I will take Dallas Goedert.
In Madden, I'm allowed to try and truck people with Zach Ertz. He wouldn't do that in real life, but that's okay.
But he will piss blood for your Philadelphia Eagles, so commendable. All right, I got to take him now. I need to get a defensive player on the squad. Javon Curse, the freak. I saw him last Monday at Dawkins outing. Still looks like he could get out there and play.
Wow.
He was so fast and strong off the edge. I loved rushing the quarterback with Javon Curse. It was so much fun. He had to be one of the most fun DNs to play with in the game.
Cool. Okay, let's go. So I think we need 3, or I need 3.
Yeah, I have 3 picks remaining.
Yeah. Or maybe 4, because I need another quarterback as well. But for 2 of them, you've already boxed me out. So I'm going to just take the guy I want next. This is a ridiculous pick. It's not the next best player. I don't care. I just want Chad Lewis on my team. I'll take Chad Lewis. 04. Give me bad graphics. Chad Lewis on my very cool team. Mike Vick will get him the ball. That's who I want. So he's up next, and since I have to probably think about the receivers that are still left,
I have 3 written down here on my list.
I will take. You didn't take Wentz, right?
I did not take Wentz.
Yeah, so I'll take Wentz from Madden 2019 or from mid-season 2018.
Jalen Hurts goes undrafted. The Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yeah, that's a good point. But again, I'm not playing the game as much anymore. It's not Jalen's fault. Maybe he'll have a chip on his shoulder. Maybe he'll be listening to this and he's like, I don't like this. I just was a Super Bowl MVP.
Rent is due every day, Jalen, you know?
Can't get on the 4 deep of these 2 dummies, Madden draft. Yeah.
All right, so it's now to me. I guess I'm going to grab the little fella. Give me Darren Sproles as my backup running back.
2016.
Sproles was a lot of fun. He could wiggle through some things. He was quick. When he got in the open field, he was gone.
So I looked at the again, I was on some very stupid sites looking up old Madden ratings or whatever. Like it wasn't even like IGN. It was some real bootleg stuff. So they could have been lying to me for all I know. But for the 2015 version, so Madden 16, Sproles was the 3rd rated running back on the Eagles behind DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews. But come on, you're putting Darren Sproles in the game. Like, I don't want to.
Oh, absolutely.
Murray, even when he was good, he wasn't fun. He was terrible for the Eagles as well.
So then I get one more pick, and then I get the final pick. I'm going to go with my final defensive player, and I loved playing this man. I would blitz all the time. I would blow up the run game. The Axeman in the middle of the field. Now, there's better Eagles defensive players, but I loved playing Madden with Jeremiah Trotter. And his shoulder pads were like wider than everyone else, so he just looked like more badass and intimidating.
It's a good pick. That's a position that
your defense smokes mine, though.
You like playing. 2 other defensive players. I had Trotter next, but let's give a special shout out to Malcolm Jenkins and Michael Lewis got up to a 92 overall at one point as well. Much better in the video game than probably in real life, but that's all right. We're playing the video game, so it doesn't really matter.
And Fletcher Cox not selected, much to the chagrin of somebody in the comments. Charles says somebody better take Fletcher Cox. He was a game wrecker in Madden 2020.
I'm sure he was a beast. I just don't like being a defensive tackle. What? I'm going to control a guy and I'm just going to run into a guard, and hopefully break through every third play. Yeah, but I'd rather do that with the edge rushers, right? You got more space. Yeah. Well, okay. You can do that. Okay, so I need to think of 2 other receivers now. Let's see what I can come up with. I think Alshon Jeffrey has to be one of them.
He was one of my 3 written down here.
If we're going from that era as well. Let's see, go back to this is very bad podcasting right now. I'm trying to think. 20. Jeremy Maclin would be the other one. Yeah.
He was Jeremy one of my 2 and
around. Then, 20.
Real quick,
2010, 2011 era.
Overtime. Yes, Maclin is the correct answer. The only other one I had written down, because I believe Irvin Fryer was added. He did have 2 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons with the Birds. I can't speak to how he would have played in Madden, but he was the only other one I could come up with.
Well, when I was a kid too, and like when I was starting to play Madden, the Eagles were good, right? It was those early Andy teams. They were not a fun Madden team, right? You're throwing the ball to James Thrash and Todd Pinkston. It's like,
It was
yeah,
awful.
I would turn the sliders down for the other teams, and those guys would dominate. But come on, those guys weren't cool players. Like, James Thrash. I just remember watching the Eagles, like the play that I mentioned earlier with Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, to play from earlier with Deshaun Jackson. I used to get a huge kick out of this because I would watch the games with my uncle, and he would always bring this up when they would throw the ball to Thrash on the perimeter and have him try and shake a guy, and he would just fall down after 2 yards. Like, he would never shake a guy.
He never.
Yeah, he'd start moving side to side, and the defensive back would go, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just stay right here in your belly button. You're not going anywhere.
But yeah, Jeremy Maclin to follow up with my my speed
Macklin's a good pick.
team.
Yeah,
That's a good one. Alshon, not that fast, but fine. That's all right.
Oh, he can high point some balls in the end zone for you. And then the final pick, my backup tight end here, I will take the Warrior. A good teammate to have. He's going to pump the locker room up when they need him. He's going to play through injury and play hurt. That's Mr. Brent Selleck. I'll throw him in as the backup. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like it was disrespectful to Brent to just be like, I want Chad Lewis on the team, but I don't know. I woke up today feeling like Chad Lewis needed to be on the team.
Here's my list. I had Lewis 3, Selleck 4. So.
Oh, wow. He was ahead of him. Okay.
Yeah, I actually had Lewis ahead of him.
All right, good. Well, I drafted to your board then. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a
wrap.
About it for
I guess we'll throw it into the social media world and let people roast us and see who's got the better team.
Maybe we could get Vince to expense the game, and maybe we could create a YouTube video where we play with these two completely nonsensical teams and try and it's got to be an option on Madden, right? Like, I got to be able to throw Michael Vick and Chad Lewis together. Come on. I mean, it's 2025. You should be able to do that.
I mean, Brian Dawkins is going to get a workout in this game, Rich, because T.O., A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith are coming for him.
Well, you know what the rules should be, too? We should be able to play with the players we selected, but we should be able to pick other Eagles for you. Like, you pick the other players on my team. So you just pick bad players, basically. And I pick bad players for you, too. So, like, your other receiver is James Thrash. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay. I had a couple other notes to get to today. Let's just end it with this. The Pittsburgh Steelers fall from grace. What are they doing? As Aaron Rodgers signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers, to allow yourself to be in this situation where this washed up old quarterback who's not any good anymore can hold you hostage for a signing. Like, everybody knew he was going to sign there. Ben Roethlisberger left, like 8 years ago, and you've had no plan for a quarterback since then? What are you doing?
It's incredibly desperate. As you know, I have started to make bashing the Steelers one of my priorities too. It's an organization that still gets called like a championship organization. They have no imagination at all. I remember they had, what was their record? Were they like 9-3 when they played the Eagles in December this past year? It was very good record.
Boat raced them.
They boat raced them, and it was one of those deals where you just watch every Steelers game and it's like, all right, well, if the Steelers win the turnover battle 3-0, maybe they can eke out a 16-13. It's just like they were doing stuff that was completely unsustainable, in part because the quarterback position, there was just no imagination behind it. And they have this ridiculous streak of Mike Tomlins. It's like, yeah, sweet, man. You go 9-8 every season. That's like literally your ceiling with this team. They're the worst team to watch in the playoffs every single year. They get boat raced in the playoffs. It's yeah.
If I was Tomlin at this point, I'd be like, I think I'm retiring, guys. If you're not going to give me a quarterback, what are we doing here? We'd be better off with Justin Fields right now.
Completely agree. Like, Justin Fields, who I don't think is any good. At least there was some variance, right? Like, he could have
there's athleticism.
Yeah, he could have 2 quarters where he just completely lights it up and makes some downfield throws. Like, going with a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers, I think it is.
I think soon to be 43.
So we snubbed Jalen a little bit with our Madden draft, but I will say something that he has kind of taught us over the past few years, and that is, you can't just be a completely unlikable guy. And Jalen has his weird tendencies, but to be a good quarterback in the league, like you can't just be somebody that the entire team thinks is weird and just has these standoffish tendencies. And Aaron Rodgers over the past 3 or 4 years has been the most unlikable quarterback, like the intangibles that you need to play quarterback at a high level. And Jalen Hurts has plenty of positive attributes as well. I don't want to say it's just because of what he does in between his ears is why he succeeds. But man, like if he is near one level of that on the scale where he is kind of just somebody who brings everybody in and, he's somebody that can get along with rookies and even older players as well. Maybe not AJ Brown at all times, but that's okay. They figured it out. Aaron Rodgers is like Aaron Rodgers showing up at minicamp just because he wants to go travel around the world.
It's ridiculous.
Team for you. Like if I was like a defensive player on the Steelers, I'd be losing my mind. I'd be like,
I would hate it. Yeah, he does not warrant this. Real quick, we have a Chase Daniel Plainview super chat we got to get to. Rich says, which first-year head coaches will be exposed as frauds? Let's do it together now. 1, 2, 3. Brian Schottenheimer.
Kellen Moore. Sorry.
Oh, Kellen. Well, I think he's in a worse situation. He might coach them to better than their talent says, whereas Brian Schottenheimer maybe has more talent. I don't know. I just like ripping the Cowboys.
And I just like ripping Kellen Moore after his
what a terrible place he went to. Yeah. I mean, the Saints is a dumpster fire.
You're right. Brian Schottenheimer will be blamed more, not only because of the media attention that his team gets compared to the Saints, but also they have a little more talent than the Saints. Saints are in a pretty brutal situation. Like if they win 5 games, I don't think anybody's going to be calling for Kellen Moore's job if that happens. The other ones are Liam Cohen with the Jaguars.
Duval.
I think he could be a little fraudulent. Yeah. I mean, he did a good job with Baker over the last few years. So I would
they have talent there. So like, I feel like he has an easiest gateway to like 3 years. If he makes Trevor Lawrence look okay this year, then he probably buys himself another 2.
But Doug couldn't do that. So, and I don't think Doug is not the greatest coach of all time, but he turned Carson Wentz into a
some ice cream boys
here for a little while. Yeah. And then the other options are Ben Johnson with the Bears and Aaron Glenn with the Jets. I kind of think both those guys will be okay. I actually think the Bears, I think they're going to be better this year. I think there's talent.
I'm curious
there.
to see what Ben Johnson brings. Yeah.
It's almost not because I'm too gung-ho about Ben Johnson, because he does do some weird stuff, like some of those trick plays in the playoffs. He felt like he was a little too cute in those games. But again, those guys ran both sides of the ball for an excellent Lions team last year. So if I had to pick, I think Schottenheimer's probably the likeliest candidate.
I think Vrabel's going to be good with the Pats. Cohen, I really have no idea. Pete Carroll, I mean, you know what you're getting with him. It's not like he's going to turn into a fraud all of a sudden. So I would say Moore, Schottenheimer, and Glenn maybe are the top 3 candidates, but I'm going Schottenheimer every time in that one.
So I'm rooting for Vrabel to not be good, because I feel like a lot of people look at this garbage Patriots roster and Drake May did some nice things, so give him credit for that. But they look at Mike Vrabel and they say, "Oh man, Mike Vrabel! Wow, this is a coach that's going to revolutionize the game." And it's like, I don't know. Now I will say Mike Vrabel was on the right side of the tush push vote, so I'm not as strong in my my hatred.
Good man.
He didn't really have. He should not have had any dog in the fight, but it just felt like he was about the right things and thought it was
the meatheadedness of the sport got called into question, and Mike Vrabel, as a torch carrying meathead, had to defend the line.
Have you seen the thing that Mike Vrabel he basically drafts players by he tries to get them in meetings or they go to a private workout. He literally pushes them. And he's just like, not dense enough for me. No, not dense enough for me. So apparently people were like, Will Johnson, the tackle they drafted, like Mike Vrabel was like, oh yeah, pretty good. Some good resistance there. Yeah. So
I love that.
Yeah, there's a little meathead to him. If I had to guess, he'll actually be okay. Huh? What's up?
A little? I think there's a lot of meathead to him.
No. I'm saying a little bit of resistance from Will Johnson. Yeah.
No, okay.
A little bit of meathead. Yeah, you're talking me into Vrabel. Okay, yeah, I'm not. I don't think he's going to get exposed to fraud. He's fine.
Yeah. All right. To everybody in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Tomorrow at 2:00, there's going to be an Eagles VOD released while Zach and Bo are at camp. And then the No Pants edition, or No Pants optional, I should say, edition of the Eagles After Dark, 8 p.m. tomorrow. Mini camp tomorrow. Zach and Bo will be there. They'll bring you the latest from the field at 8:00 tomorrow night. Should be great stuff. Make sure you're tuning into that. Rich, we have a golf outing upcoming on Saturday. Very much looking forward to that and getting out there and hacking it up. And everybody that hung out with us, thank you. Let's hit that thumbs up button before you get out of here. Rich, a good time as always, and we will talk soon.
It was fun, man. I'll see you.
All right, see ya.
We all silly like the mayor.